guys are ridiculous. These guys are ridiculous.
Now, how about them damn Celtics?
So we are back with another episode of How About Them Celtics. Sam and I are here recording on Wednesday, September 13th. And we have actually a good amount of stuff today in the late months of September.
And we're not lying.
We are chilling. Yeah, I know we're not lying this time. We actually do have Celtics stuff to talk about. Before that though, I was telling Sam this before the pod. Every once in a while, I'll go to Spotify. I'll say, okay, how many reviews we had? Because that's kind of how I measure the growth of our podcast. Because like when we started, obviously there were 0 reviews or this many, and then I see 20 people have rated the pod, or this many people have rated the pod. And Apple Podcasts has a system where you can look at written reviews, or people can write written reviews, and we've never had any, just because we're not, like, only the bigger podcasts have them. And I checked last night and we had one, and it was from RJ, who has become a staple on the show. So I just wanted to say RJ in the
He's
first
essentially like a show member.
Yeah.
Kind of like, it's almost like he works for us, but not really, because
He's
he
just giving us
essentially
content.
writes half the show this time.
He's
of
a
year.
legend. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just to say cheers to you, RJ. We appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Agreed.
And also, we haven't said this a lot, but for those of you listening on the CLNS media channels, come on over and subscribe to How About Them Celtics. I just figured I'd say that in the first couple minutes of the
All
show.
2 of you.
If people are listening. Yeah, come on over to How About Them Celtics, our YouTube channel. We're posting daily here if you want shorter content as well. So just putting that out there. And you get
By the way,
a day or 2 early. So check it out.
we're recording all our stuff tomorrow. Let us know in the comments what you want to see, because I got nothing and Jack's got nothing. We're gonna sit here at like 6 o'clock tomorrow, and we're gonna say, what are we talking about? And then we're going to sit here for an hour trying to come up with some shitty ideas for nobody to watch.
This is exactly what is going to happen. So I'm talking to all of our regular commenters, the Joey Spatulas, the RJs, the Landons, the Phillips, the all these people I always see in the comments. All of you who come in and interact with us on every video, which again, we greatly appreciate. Tell us what to talk about. It doesn't have to be us reacting to stuff. Like, any topic you want to see us talk about, we can figure out a way to title. And even at this point, we'll just do it for
pods or something.
Yeah, we'll do it for the sake of video. Let us know what you want to hear us talk about, Celtics related, or even like half Celtics related, that we can title for a Celtics audience. But anyways, with that, we can get into the first little bit of Celtics news, I should say. We have more Lamar Stevens stuff. We heard earlier this summer that the Celtics were interested in Lamar Stevens. I believe it was, I can't remember who put out the initial report, but they brought him in for a workout
He was
along with
Shams.
TJ Warren. Yep, it was Shams. You're right. Brought in Lamar Stevens, who was traded from the Cavs to the Spurs and waived by the Spurs earlier this offseason. Now from Michael Scotto of Hoopsite saying, free agent swingman Lamar Stevens has drawn interest from several teams, including the Celtics, Timberwolves, Rockets, and Heat. Also mentioned that the Celtics already signed Svi Mykhailiuk. They have 14 players on the roster on either fully or partially guaranteed contracts and 1 roster spot open. The biggest thing we've talked about all summer is, they're probably saving that for Blake. Now, if that's unlikely, they could look to somewhere else and sign someone. Lamar Stevens could be an option. Although at this point, with how many wings they have on the roster, I don't know how useful that would be.
It's true.
Like,
They only have every wing. I wrote about this today. It's something we're going to talk about later in the show.
Yeah.
But they now have, this is off the bench, not including Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown,
who are
They've
pretty
got Steve Mykhailiuk. They have O'Shea Brissett. They have Sam Hauser. They have Jordan Walsh. And who's the last guy? Who is it?
good. Delano Banton, do you count him as a wing?
Delano Banton. That was the last one. That's 5 guys that could potentially be the backup wing. You tell me you want to bring in another one? And mind you, none of these guys are like the head and shoulders leader in candidacy for the backup minutes. There's going to be some kind of competition to be a part of the rotation throughout the season. Do they really need more people for this? Like, who's out there that you're going to get that's better than what you have? Like, Lamar Stevens is definitely a fun player to talk about. We did the video where we watched the highlights, and there are intriguing parts of his game. It's great that he can play defense. He's a hustle guy. Continue. But if I'm looking for those things, I kind of want to see it from Jordan Walsh. Like, that's kind of his like selling points. I want to see him get an opportunity. You just drafted him. Let him run. The hell do I want to see a new guy for?
Yeah, the only thing I'll say about the wings is they all do different things. So like Sam Hauser and Svi Mykhailiuk are similar, but like Hauser is more of a
Spider-Man. mean?
Hauser's more of a straight up shooter. At least Fee can handle the ball, so I guess there's that difference. But they're both shooters. But then past that, it is Delano Banton is a hustle defender and a shooter. O'Shea Brissett's a defender, but he's also like a good cutter and a playmaker. Delano Banton can handle the ball pretty well. Bringing in Lamar Stevens would give you kind of similar things to what Jordan Walsh brings, but he is a bigger body. Like, he's a lot stronger. He's been in the league longer. He's a much better rebounder. Like, that was one thing he did really well in Cleveland. So you can make the argument that he would give you a different look. He's also two-way eligible, but with the amount of interest he's getting, I can't imagine that he would be interested in the two-way deal at this point. But it's just something to note, I suppose, as the Celtics continue to explore options outside of Blake Griffin. The next thing is stuff from The Athletic, which I thought was interesting, and we can react to here. They did fan surveys for Celtics. So basically, they put out Google Forms in an article asking Celtics Nation a bunch of questions, and then they put the results in these pretty cool graphics that we are going to just look at, right? We're just going to look at the graphs and react to them, because I thought it would be a cool thing for us to do. So the quality on these images is
I like the
not
way you served
great.
that up, though.
What? That we're just
I thought it was
reacting to
a fun thing to do.
It is. Well, I don't know if you've seen it, but it is a fun thing to
I
do.
didn't look at it yet. No, so this will be fun.
So this is what I'm saying. They're like putting these nice little pie charts, which gives you some sort of thing. This one's
3D.
a terrible example. Yeah, this one's a terrible example because it is just awful quality, but the rest are pretty good quality. So this first question is, when did you become a Celtics fan? And you can see the biggest one being the original Big Three, so in the 80s. So a lot of older people are yeah. This is basically telling you who answered the question.
Ploy. They want to find out who their audience is.
So I think we would both fall under the Big Three Redux 07 to 2013.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's around where we were, or even just after that. So maybe in between these two. So like around 2014 is right when we were. So that was there, but you can see the pie chart here. How many Celtics games did you watch in 2022? So this whole first one was
fucking
basically seeing who they got to answer the survey. So the biggest one was 65 plus was the biggest one. Obviously, if you're taking the time to answer a Google form, you're probably watching a lot of Celtics games. So a lot of people watched them all. A lot of people fell into the 41 to 65 and 21 to 40 range as well. Where are you located? Again, this is just demographic. Somewhere in the US and Canada. Obviously, greater Boston area was a big part of it. A lot of Celtics fans across the nation, though, which is cool. Some in other places as well. How do you consume Celtics games? Live on NBC Sports Boston. There's no other way. You love
respect.
Hell yeah. A lot of people on demand, and then live, but only when national. That's a large account for them. I wonder how much of that is they're just not in the area, so they don't have a choice. But
they put the same answer on there twice. They have live on 98.5 the Sports Hub twice.
Live on 98 FM, live on 90. I guess that's the same thing. Yeah, I just saw the different thing. I know. I just saw the different text after, so I was confused. Okay,
mostly in person. What a flex.
Yeah, right. Orange, 30 people.
Big peen.
Who is your favorite current Celtics player? Jason Tatum gets the large majority. Derek White is the second highest among current favorite Celtics. That's awesome. Jaylen Brown is third. Rob is after that, then Horford, and then a bunch of smaller options. Marcus Smart still got some love. Pritchard as well. Excuse me. And then a bunch of people in between there.
Larry Bird.
Jay Scrubb got one answer. Some fun people in there.
Jay Scrubb's dad,
well. Maybe.
He's out there.
Very possible. Who's your favorite Celtic ever? A lot of answers here. Number 1, Larry Bird. Number 2, Paul Pierce. Number 3, Kevin Garnett. And then the other biggest answer is Marcus Smart with 100 people. So gotta love the respect. A lot of answers in here, though, as you can see.
Bob Ryan.
Yes.
Somebody put Bob Ryan. Is Bill Simmons on there?
But Russell also got love. I have no idea if Bill Simmons.
I don't think so.
I would doubt it. What is this? Gerald Green vibes only. That's funny. Somebody just answered with a color code of some sort. Scalabrini gets some love. Excuse me. Grant Williams got 2 votes. It wasn't me. I promise you it wasn't me. I voted Marcus Smart for this question. I remember. State of the franchise. How do you feel about last season? 51% of people. Great season, but still fell short. 32% disappointed. I think I fell under the I don't know what I voted for this. I think disappointed, or I think I don't think I said great season, but still fell short. I think I said disappointed.
I think that's
what
me.
it was. Extremely frustrated. No, this
That's
is
me.
you.
That's me.
How do you feel after this offseason? Remain strong
Fucking
contenders.
terrible.
I agree. Title favorites. Who cares? Smart trade broke my heart. There's Sam.
They should have a they better win option, because I think that's truly the best
What's your
answer.
favorite?
Like the smart trade broke my heart, but if they win, then fine. But if not, then you're gonna fucking hear about it.
That's your favorite. It's your favorite. How do you feel about the long-term future? Will be a solid contender for years. I agree. Perennial title favorites. There's that as well.
Should be that too.
Missed their chance already, and then time to break it up. Not a lot of votes for those.
I think every single one of those is valid except for the break it up. I can see, because to be honest, it does feel like they missed chances, but at the same time, it also doesn't feel like they're done.
Definitely.
Nothing
I think
happened
I voted
this summer where you're like, damn, like, well, now they're fucked. Like, no, there's nothing. Nothing yet.
How confident are you in Joe Mazzulla? Large majority solid, but still learning. Some with average, some with bring back Brad, and some with great coach in the making. I voted solid, but still learning. I think that's the pretty
average.
Yeah. You're going average over solid, but still learning.
Yeah. Average.
Fair enough.
But I would say average, but still learning.
Sure. Similar. How confident are you in ownership's leadership and commitment to winning? Very. They have given the team chances. Good. Somewhat. It's been a long time since something. They're average NBA governors and sell the team. Large majority with very confident. And I think that's fair. I think they've been pretty good at it.
I think you should be confident. They seem like they're willing to spend money. They keep saying it, and then they're like, oh, Grant's not coming back.
That was the only red flag that we've seen recently, but still, it's okay. And I mean, you saw it a little bit a couple of years ago when they just said, okay, goodbye, Tice. Let's just get back nothing and dump your salary.
Tice is fire.
That was weird.
World champion Tice.
How confident are you in Brad Stevens? One of the better front offices in the league, got the majority of the votes. They will deliver banner 18. So a lot of confidence in Brad with these two. Doing a solid job. There is very little Brad hate here, which is I agree with. He doesn't deserve it. He's been good, I think.
Well, there is no reason to feel like he isn't doing a solid job at the very least, right? Like,
agree.
Okay, so roughly, let's say like 95% of people have faith in him.
Yeah, more than that.
Yeah, not 97, 98,
yeah,
whatever. And they're kind of right too. He hasn't really messed up yet.
Agree. Good for Brad.
The summer will tell.
The heart of a nation. Who is the most indispensable person in Celtics Nation? Jason Tatum, number one. And I think I agreed with this. Number two was Brad Stevens. And then there was nothing even close to those. There was some with Wick Grosbeck, Mike Zarin, no one. And then a lot of Marcus Smart got some votes in here. Lucky got a 10 votes.
What's that red one?
Mike Gorman. Yeah, good answer. Did I see Janos get 12
Janos.
That's amazing. Jay King got 6 votes. How about them Celtics in here? Did you guys show out? I don't think
Definitely
so.
Not. Imagine.
Jay King or Imagine. Yeah, right. Whoever keeps Porzingis on the court. Jam Packard, Riffsman, the God in Green Run.
Bill Simmons' dad.
That's fire. Can we skip through all these? Sam Sheehan, Ben Affleck, Blake Griffin, Kristaps Porzingis, Dave Portnoy, Bill Simmons, Jam Packard, Sam Cassell, Kendrick Perkins, Johnny Most, Timmy. Timmy's a good answer. He's a beast. Bobby Manning
from CLNS. I'm glad they clarified. I would have got him mixed up with the other Bobby Manning.
Imagine Bobby just wrote in, "Hey, it's me."
Yeah,
Bobby is the beast though. Bobby is unironically
he's a dog.
He's a legend. Keith Smith, your mom. Cedric Maxwell, Jaylen Brown, Coley Mick, Gino, Scal. I'm just curious now because these are all fun. Deuce Tatum, Marcus Smart, Dan Greenberg, the fans. Yeah. There we go. No, how about the Celtics? Guys, what are we doing? Come on. Can we show out a little bit? Come on.
Somebody misspelled Mike Gorman.
Oh, disaster. Oh, did someone put it somewhere else?
Yeah, no. It's toward. Just move on.
Yeah.
Get ready for the NFL season with incredible offers from FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets. Guaranteed. That's guaranteed. Plus, all customers who bet $5 will get $100 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Now is the best time to join FanDuel. It absolutely is. The app is easy to use, and you can be on everything from spreads to player props and more. So visit FanDuel.com/Boston. Kick off the NFL season with an offer you won't want to miss. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.
There is a part 2. And I think this is what I saw when I wanted to do it. These are more interesting questions, I think, because they ask about sort of the state of the team and what's going on heading into the season. Like the franchise cornerstones, is Jason Tatum going to be an MVP? Once is a large majority of the vote. Several times has a little portion. Then he will never quite get there. Is the second highest at 28%. But I think he will win the MVP award at least once. I'm not going to say several times. I think 2-time is potential, but he's just going up against so much competition. I think there will be a year where the Celtics have a great regular season. He puts up similar numbers to the ones he puts up this year. That combined with voter fatigue, I think he'll get one. And if the Celtics are really, really good for string years, I think he could get multiple, but I do think he'll definitely get one. So I'd probably vote once here.
I'm torn. I think he'll get one, but also I'm not convinced he'll ever get there. But I think he'll get one. Largely because they just kind of give them to whoever. Embiid got one just because he cried about it long enough this year. Jokic probably had the better regular season. If I was a voter, I would have voted Jokic solely because there was a head-to-head at the end of the season.
I might have voted Giannis. Yeah.
Or Giannis. Yeah. But there's real voter fatigue. It's a real thing. So you're starting to kind of run out of new age guys that haven't won it yet. There's Tatum, Luka. Who am I missing? Of the main stars of the younger class.
Shea could get one.
Shea. He's a new star though. He's got some dues to pay.
Yeah, all NBA verse team though. I'm just saying he has MVP potential. You could argue before all the gun stuff, John Morant was on the way. He could be an MVP type guy, and I think he'll get back there. I don't think he'll get this way too much. Yeah, but outside of Tatum and Luka, there's no real clear cut. This is a young guy. Devin Booker, maybe. Devin Booker's another one.
Devin Booker. Okay, yeah, it's a good answer. He will never quite get there. My argument for that is we still haven't seen Tatum play a whole season without sucking for at least a month. So if he's ever going to win an MVP, he has to play a complete season. And in his defense, the Celtics are playing so much basketball, as annoying as it is to watch. It's understandable that maybe his body craps out for a little bit and gets tired. If you want to attribute that to why he might not play well for certain stretches, it's understandable. He's played a ton of games. They made the finals. They made the Eastern Conference Finals at least now 3 years in a row. No, 2 years in a row, 3 of the last 4.
Yeah.
And he played in the Olympics, and he played in the World Cup before they made that bubble run or after. Before. I don't remember which one. They played in it at some point. He plays a lot of basketball.
Yes. All right. Next question. How do you feel about Jaylen Brown's contract? 61% said glad he's around, but that's a lot of money. 29.7% great deal. Celtics need to keep them together forever. Green, which is about 10% saying just can't believe he signed the biggest contract. And then the red, which is the lowest bar, but still a little bit there. Too much money. He'll never be good enough. I think 61% saying glad he's around. That's a lot of money is good. And then the second one being keep them together is also good. People are happy that he's back, which is a good sign.
I mean, yeah, it's a lot of money. The only reason why the money matters is if you ever need to trade him, then it becomes a little bit of a hang up. But for all intents and purposes of what the fan base sees going forward, if it is keeping Tatum and Brown together, like the blue section says, then there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. It is a great deal because that money doesn't matter. Sure, they're paying it, but if he's staying with the team, it literally does not matter.
And they can't use it elsewhere. That's the big thing.
What else? That's the point. You're not going to get anything better than Jaylen Brown for that money as it stands. If you're trying to trade him, maybe it becomes a roadblock. Just like when we talk about Dame, I'm like, the contract sucks. I don't want him.
But even then, though, he is a good enough player where you could get a team to, even at worst case, give you a solid $30 million player, which that sounds like a lot, but that's going to be a borderline all-star in a couple of years, and then filler contracts that will easily match that. So I don't even think that'll become an issue unless something really bad happens. So I'm glad people are happy Jaylen's back. How will Kristaps Porzingis fit in Boston? 78%. Very well if he stays healthy. 12% saying I have no idea. It could go either way. A little bit less than that. He's the missing piece to a title. And then 2 lower ones saying bad fit and another score first player could be an issue. So overwhelmingly, 1,100 votes, 78% of the votes saying good fit, great fit if he stays healthy, which, yeah, pretty much. I agree.
Things are off to a roaring start with that.
Woo! Plantar fasciitis. Let's go. Love it. All right.
I think I might have that.
Farewell to Marcus Smart.
Not
How should Marcus Smart be remembered in Boston? 45%, the org's greatest competitor since Kevin Garnett. 41%, a flawed but lovable player. 10.5%, one of the best Celtics in a long time. And then smaller than that, regular source of frustration and the player who is holding the Celtics back. And those are very, very tiny slivers. It is overwhelmingly either the org's greatest competitor since Kevin Garnett or a flawed but lovable player. So there is love there, although you do see the twinge of people disliking him. But I mean,
they're the loudest.
Yeah, that
you would have thought he was the devil at times when he was with the Celtics.
Yeah, I agree with the org's greatest competitor since KG,
win.
though. I like that. They better win. Did the Celtics screw up by trading Marcus Smart? 36%. Yes, but only because I love him. Porzingis will be better. I voted that, or I would have. I don't think I did this part of the vote. Green, no. Porzingis and the picks are clearly more valuable. That is like 70% of the vote with those two answers. 14%, yes, he was irreplaceable or as the heart and soul. 9%, yes, they will miss his passing more than his defense. And red, no, he was holding them back, which is about like 7%. So overwhelmingly, it is yes, they did screw up. Or excuse me, overwhelmingly, it is yes, they screwed up, but only because I love him, or no, they didn't. Porzingis is better. So I think people are sad about the deal because he was Marcus Smart, but understand that it was good value, which is where I stand.
I think we're both there, but if they lose, I'm going to give them hell for it because I think it was a risky move.
It was. Next one. Can Robert Williams become an all-star? Very split vote.
That's a
here.
good question.
It is. This is why I liked this one. Can Robert Williams become an all-star? 36% no, offense is too limited. 33% yes. 26% no, has talent but won't stay healthy. And then like what is it? What would that be? Like 10%, 6% no, won't improve much more. So very split vote here. I would probably go with no, offense is too limited just because I don't think he'll get the amount of touches he'll need. But that's me.
See, there should be another option here that's no, because the other options in the Eastern Conference are just so much better.
True.
Is he really ever going to be better than Embiid or Bam? Probably not. Then you have Jared Allen hanging out, who made it and has a very similar skill set to Rob. So you could very much be like, well, look at that. And Rob could definitely get on. But then you're going to have other bigs like kind of show up. Evan Mobley's going to become a better player and he'll earn one of the big man votes, even though he's technically a forward.
Who did you say that he can hang on? Who was the other one?
Jared Allen.
Mobley.
He made an all-star team.
Yeah. Okay. That's what
he's just about the same guy. So
it's fun. It's going to be tough, though. I think there's too much talent and he won't get enough touches.
He might be
on
better
his
than
Celtics.
Capella, but
maybe, yeah.
They have guys.
Banchero, too, like Wagner, all these front court players coming up. They're easy.
Correct.
How long will Horford remain a helpful player? 48%, just one more season before the Celtics need to replace him. 27%, he has at least 2 more solid years left. 17%, he's already started slipping. I'm worried. And then a little bit probably forever. So a lot of people think just one more season before the Celtics need to replace him. And then the next biggest is he has 2 years left. Luckily, as we said, I think they've already been on the way to replacing him with Porzingis. So I'd probably go with 1 or 2 seasons, probably 1 before replacing him. But I think the replacement is already in place.
I'm a mix between the red and the green. I don't think he looked fantastic in the playoffs. The shooting was a concern. That's kind of the only thing they're asking of him. Of course, defense is important too.
The perimeter
and he was
defense.
very, very good against Embiid. But like you say, on the perimeter, he was very slow. He was getting targeted in pick and rolls. Teams were taking advantage of him. That's not really a good sign if you're relying on him to give you more minutes this year. Now, like you said, they brought in Porzingis to kind of mend this or soften the blow of him getting old. So hopefully it all works out for the better.
Yep.
But isolated, I would say I'm kind of worried, but I think he'll be okay for 1 more year.
Agree. I'd be around there. How much will the Celtics miss Grant Williams? 53%. His combination of toughness and shooting won't be easy to replace. That actually surprises me. So many people.
Yeah, me too. I wanted everyone to shit on him, dude.
28% more as a locker room force than as a player. 15% not at all. Shea Brissett and Hauser are at least as good. That's ridiculous. And Green is a whole lot. The Celtics should never have gone over the second apron to keep him. or they should have gone over. So a lot of people, I was like, what? 53% saying hard to replace, which is good.
Is it good?
But, well, good in the sense that like
if they're right,
it's a lot of people. It's a lot more than I thought. I do think 15% of people, 200 people saying Brissett and Hauser is good is nuts, but I was high on them.
I just think they'll miss him, not now, but later. They'll miss him later. When Horford starts to get old, to tie it back to that, and when it starts to show, they'll miss him.
Yep, I agree. Do the Celtics have a Malcolm Brogdon problem? Almost 50% saying nope, he'll be keeping a great player for the bench. 18% saying, what are you talking about? He's 6th man of the year, so a lot of people not worried. 14%, yep, they should have traded him after such a good season. 11%, yep, he'll be upset they almost traded him. And then the red, no, they were lucky to move Smart instead of him. Also, again, the minority here, like 8%. But a lot of people not worried about Brogdon. Most people not worried about Brogdon.
The answer to this question is only if Malcolm Brogdon decides there's a Malcolm Brogdon problem, which is essentially
that's a good way of putting it. That's a good way of putting it, yeah.
There's no reports saying that he's pissed off or whatever. At least I don't think there were. You can infer that he might be far from thrilled that he was reported to be traded.
I wouldn't be happy.
We haven't heard anything come out about this. And I think if there truly were or was any kind of issue, then you would have heard really aggressive trade pursuit from the Celtics end. Like they would really be trying to get rid of him. That's just what I think about it.
I agree. I think it'll be fine. I voted he'll be fine off the bench. And then another iconic farewell, Mike Gorman. How do you feel about Mike Gorman retiring after the season? 67%. Sad to see a legend go. 18.7. Games won't be quite the same, but I'm okay with it. I feel like most of these people are just like, yeah, I mean, I understand it. Like, I don't think that's a malicious thing. 13% congrats to him.
Green's the only right answer.
13% congrats to him, but ready for a new voice. That's crazy. Yellow, I don't even know how many people this was, but should have retired years ago. That's nuts. That's crazy to me.
Yeah, I don't get anybody that wants him to leave. I think he's excellent. He's one of the great Celtics ever. Oddly enough, like we talked about the Mount Rushmore thing, which eventually will go up on Celtics blog that I wrote. I swear I didn't steal from Forsberg. But I really think he should get a shout for being one of the all-time great Celtics because he's been with the organization for 4 decades. He truly bleeds green. He cares about everything. He has really good opinions and he knows what he's talking about. And he's been involved with 4 championships, I think. It's got to be 4.
He's a legend.
Lived the
Sad to see him go.
Survived. Are
the Celtics winning it all? This is a category. How many games will the Celtics win this year? 77% said 50 to 59. 20% said 60 plus. And then only 2% said 40 to 49. So everyone is saying the Celtics will be good. With the large majority saying they'll win around 50 to 59 games, which I think is fair with how much competition there is in the East.
I would like to see them win all the games.
Well, how far will they make it in the playoffs? 36.6% said champions, 36.3% said finals, 22% said ECF, and very few people said second round or lose in first round, which would be a disaster.
I can feel it already. The angst of the playoffs where we talked about this when it was happening. The expectation that the team is going to have great success, in this case, 73% of fans said they are going to at least make the finals. Anything less than that, I would have to imagine, is a disappointment. So just get ready for the misery that comes along with your team being good. Keith Smith was the one I think that presented it to you when we were talking about it.
Yeah.
And it is so on the nose because it sucks. It's not as fun as you imagine it to be. Because you're just like, dude, they're supposed to win. Why aren't they winning? And that's the whole spring. That's what it was. Yep.
I will say I get, if I was a fan, that's how I'd feel a lot more. But the fact that we get to sit down and do this, I still regardless, obviously a lot more fun when they win, but the views say otherwise. So I'll put it that way.
Wow.
Let's see. I don't know how many more there are. Bonus. Will Yam Madar ever come over to the Celtics? 85% said LOL. 11% he'll make the roster.
That one guy in the comments is going to be rock hard, dude.
There's no chance. There's no chance. But
we had one guy in the comments for a month straight just being like, bring him over.
He's not coming over. He's just not. I'm sorry. Hate to break it to you, but
he's afraid of the
Athletics
competition.
Fan survey.
Clearly.
Yeah, he is. That's what fans think of the Celtics this season. But next thing we have, Nerlens Noel was released by the Kings after just signing there earlier this summer, I believe. And Sam wanted to talk about, because he's a local guy mainly, is I assume why you wanted to talk about him.
Well, we talk about them needing like a fourth or fifth, count Cornette, to just kind of fill in every once in a while. The idea of it is fun. Noel was a top 10 pick 10 years ago. My God, I remember that day. Ugh. He's big. He's 6'11". He, throughout his career, was an okay shot blocker. Can't really shoot. But the big problem, he's played 42 games over the last 2 years. Can't really get on the court, whether it's health or just not being good enough. He played for the Pistons and Nets last year and only played 3 games. Played 3 games for the Nets, 17 total.
And he shot 36% in those games.
And he's almost 7 feet tall, so it's not great.
No,
but
not at all.
I like a good story as much as the next guy, so I say trot him out there. Now Jack doesn't agree with me, but I think it would be fun.
I'm out.
But only if he brings back the flat top.
He's washed. Nerlens Noel's washed. I'm sorry.
Oh, he's clearly washed. It sucks.
Yeah, I'm more interested in Neemias Queta, who they also released, and even that is like not worth it because he's a good player. Like he actually showed some stuff. I saw a lot of Kings fans like upset they released him, and so like if the Celtics wanted to bring him in to replace the Fiondu Kabengele like two-way spot, fine. But it's just, I don't think either of these guys would ever sniff the court for the Celtics. So I don't think there's a real point. Kenneth Faried, get Kenneth Faried instead. Like, come on, what do we do?
Actually, get facts.
Get Kenneth Faried instead.
I agree. Fine. Good call, Jack. We need to continue to push that. And if he gets on the team, we have to like be like, look, like we started.
We're the club. We're the club. Kenneth Faried to Celtics movement. That's us right here. How about them Celtics? You heard it first. Next thing, we're going to catch up on RJ's emails. Don't worry about it. We have 4. We're going to roll through them. We did 4 last time. We're going to do 4 today. We're going to get through them all, catch up, and head in. So, opening the email. Sounds good. Sounds good. Okay. We are kicking it off with 2003, 2004. This is when my sister was born. It's just weird to see how young I am versus old I am, because I think I'm old all the time, because my sister makes me feel old. But anyways, 2003, 2004 spotlight on the start of the Ainge era. Thank you again to RJ, as always, legend. After 2 years of competing in the playoffs, Danny Ainge decided the Celtics needed more talent that he can turn into even more and better talent. So today we start with the poster child for the gravity sling Celtics, Ricky Davis. Prior to the start of the season, Danny started cleaning house. In late July, he packaged J.R. Bremer, Bruno Sundov, and a 2005 second-round pick to the Cavaliers for Jermaine Jones. In October, he sent Tony Delk and Antoine Walker to the Mavericks for Rafe LaFrance, Chris Millis, Jerry Welsh in a 2004 first. And then in December, Danny bundled up Tony Battie, Kendrick Brown, and Eric Williams to the Cavaliers for Ricky Davis, Chris Mim, Michael Stewart, and a 2005 second. He sent them in July. In all, 15 players joined or left the Celtics, but all of them, Ricky Davis was the most noteworthy of all. Not because Danny had misjudged his talent. He was an athletic, flamboyant, 6'6" shooting guard who had been in the league for 5 years and had one season already where he cracked 20 points per game. But while guys like Greg Minor, Eric Williams, and David Wesley were scrappers in team first sorts, Ricky Davis, the 21st pick in the 98 draft, was all about Ricky Davis. In one game, I don't recall if this was with Cleveland or Boston, Davis needed one more rebound for a triple-double, so he took the inbounds pass, bricked a shot at his own basket, and got the board. That said, he was above the rim player, something the Celtics had not seen much in their recent history. His first year with the team, he was second on the squad in scoring with 14.1 points per game to go along with 4.2 rebounds and 2.6 assists. Why Davis? Because he was the epitome of the Ainge 3-card Monty trading game. 3-card Mont. I don't know. Sorry. Davis played 1 full season and 2 partial seasons with the Celtics before moving on to Minnesota in a 7-player, 3 draft pick swap in January 2006. The 3 seasons Davis was on the Celtics roster, the team went 36-46, 45 and 37, and 33 and 49. And it didn't feel like there was any continuity, being built. While Davis's style of play wasn't conducive to team cohesion, check this clip, I see him more as a symptom of Danny's swap meet mentality, similar players Tyreek Evans and Pooh Richardson. Trivia: Davis wore the number that has been worn by more players in Celtics history than any other, 12. How many players have worn it through the 22-23 season? Do you know, or can you see?
I don't know how many I can't see it because I don't have it blown up. How many?
34 players. 34 players.
I knew it was the most. I knew all the other parts of that question. I just did not know the total number.
Lots and lots of players. And also, he sent us this clip, which we can watch quickly.
Is it him doing the dunk and Tommy getting pissed?
I believe it is. Hopefully you can hear
dunk.
It. This is TikTok.
Yeah. Tommy gets mad as hell at this.
Yes, he is.
Yep. Misses.
Come on, Ricky. Stop that.
Yep. And Tommy was mad as hell at this.
Don't make the basket. Forget he got two, though. And this is a typical example I'm talking about is, well, let's see Ricky here. Yeah, he's going to put on a show. Please, Ricky.
He's so mad.
I take your fanny right out of the ball game right now for doing that.
Great clip.
Not
Good
happy.
selection.
Not happy at all. All right. Do you want to get the next one? 2004, 2005, Sam?
Pull it up.
Here we go.
All right. 2004, 2005. Focus on the truth. As we get ready for Jason Tatum's 7th season, I thought it might be interesting to look back at year 7 in the association for the last Celtic to be considered the man. So today, let's make some time for the truth. Paul Pierce. Pierce came into the league from a remarkable 98 draft. 7 players had careers that lasted 16 years or more. Anton Jamison, Al Harrington, and Rashard Lewis at 16. Nazr Muhammad at 18. Pierce for 19. Dirk Nowitzki, 21. And Vince Carter, 22. He played long as hell. He'd already had 3 seasons averaging over 25 points per game while routinely playing nearly every game. In his 7th season, Danny Ainge was still trying to assemble the pieces to make the Celtics a championship team. This year, focusing on the draft, Kendrick Perkins was in his 2nd year, while Tony Allen, Al Jefferson, and Delonte West were all in their rookie seasons. This was Pierce's team, with Rafe LaFrentz and Gary Payton being the other 2 principal starters. I can't speak. They won the and no, I really can't. They won the Atlantic Division, but lost in the first round to the Pacers in 7 games. Why Pierce? Well, as he took the reins of the team, he decreased his scoring and was trying to let other players shine and have the team win together. He also shaved a turnover per game from his average, which helped the squad too. This wasn't necessarily the season Pierce stepped up and did more, but it was the year that the team felt like it succeeded because of him being at the center of it. I think there were some parallels for Tatum to look at as he trains with Paul. Similar players, John Havlicek, Rick Barry, and Adrian Dantley. Trade trivia: of the 6 draft picks involved in the Pierce KG trade with the Nets, only 1 player never played in the NBA. Which year was he picked?
God. I've got nothing. Not even a semblance of a clue.
The answer: 2017, 2nd round pick, Sasha Vezenkov.
Sasha Vezenkov. Okay, cool. I'd never heard of him. Had never heard of him. Wait, he's on the Kings right now. Apparently,
Is he?
That's what Sasha Vezenkov apparently played for. I looked at this because I was confused. He played internationally last season in Greece, I believe this is, for Olympiakos. Averaged 17.6 rebounds and 2 assists. And on Wikipedia, current team, Sacramento Kings. So they brought him in, at least on a training camp deal. So maybe he'll break this streak that RJ is talking about. I'll get back to the more obscure tomorrow. With that, let's get back to the more obscure. 2005, 2006, the proto Marcus Smart. Most folks saw him as a defensive specialist at the combo guard spot, but he did well as a lead guard for several years until he was traded to help the Celtics get over the hump of the championship. Sound familiar? Well, before we had Marcus Smart, the Celtics had another muscular, tattooed guard to today's spotlight player, Delonte West. Pick number 24 in the first round of the 2004 draft. He was the 2nd of Boston's 3 first-rounders that year. Al Jefferson at 15, Tony Allen at 25, and arguably one of Ainge's best draft hauls. He was hailed for his wingspan and defensive potential. Those combined with his first-to-the-floor hustle made him a crowd favorite. He also had a solid three-point shot, maintaining a 37% shot during his 4 years in Boston. In only his second year in the league, he started all 71 games he played in and put up a very solid 11.8 points, 4.1 rebounds, and 4.6 assists for that year. Why Delonte? He was part of a solid team Danny was building around Paul Pierce to compete for a title. West, Tony Allen, Al Jefferson fit nicely with Wally Serbiak and Rafe LaFrance if the Michael Olowokandi experiment had turned out differently. But even without that, imagine if the squad had stayed together and the Celtics had been able to draft Kevin Durant in the summer of 2007. Similar players, Lester Connor, Nate Richardson, and Gerald Henderson. Trivia, when he signed with the Celtics in 2010-2011 season, West got to play alongside 3 of the 4 other players involved in his 2007 trade to Seattle. Can you name all 3? Sam, do you want to guess or can you see?
Ray Allen, Big Baby, and Jeff Green.
Bang. Love it. There we go. Thank you for the Delonte West. Delonte West, who been going on a rough patch in recent years. Hopefully Delonte West can find himself again, but tough. All right, last one.
I believe this is the last one ever.
I think this is the last one we have.
Are up the creek for Saturday, so thank you.
No. Oh, no.
All right. Friday. We'll get to that.
We'll see. Here you go. You got it, Sam, or you want me to read it out?
I got it.
Hit it.
2006-2007 spotlight on an earlier Al. There were a few bright moments in the 06-07 season, but one of the ray of hopes was a young player many Celtics fans thought would be a cornerstone of the franchise. He did help the Celtics build their next championship team, just not quite the way anyone imagined. Today, we look at Al Jefferson. Imagine the Ime Udoka suspension, Kevin Garnett's 2009 injury, Robert Williams' knee injury, and the death of Reggie Lewis, all happening within the same season. Welcome to the 06-07 season that opened with the death of Red Auerbach. Saw Paul Pierce miss 7 weeks with a stress reaction in his foot. Tony Allen blew out his knee on a wide-open dunk. And 8 days after the Celtics broke a franchise record 18-game losing streak, Celtics legend Dennis Johnson died at the age of 52 with a heart attack. In the middle of it all, Al Jefferson put in the work he needed on the way to becoming an NBA All-Star. Drafted out of high school with the 15th pick in the 2004 NBA draft, Jefferson joined Kendrick Perkins as part of a big, bruising front line of the future. While Al could be as physical as Perk, he also possessed a grace in the low post that made him a formidable scoring threat from 10 feet in. Imagine Kevin McHale, but broader and able to finish at the rim like Malcolm Brogdon. Is that good or bad? In the 06-07 season, he started 60 games, tied for most with Ryan Gomes of Providence College, also cousin of Michael Pina, averaging a double-double of 16 points per game and 11 rebounds per game. At the end of the 24-58 season, the Celtics have a shot at getting either Greg Oden or Kevin Durant, but the ping-pong balls gave them the 5th pick in the 07 draft, which set the wheels in motion for the Allen and Garnett trades. Al was the key player in the Garnett deal. Al was the key player in the Garnett deal. And he had his best season with Minnesota, averaging 20 points and 10.4 rebounds during his 3-year stint. Jefferson went on to play 14 years in the league, 3 seasons with each Boston, Minnesota, Charlotte, and Utah, plus 2 with Indiana. Why Al? It's hard to see it now, but coming into the 06-07 season, the Celtics had surrounded Pierce with Rondo, 20 years old, Delonte West, 23, Perkins, 22, Gomes, 24, Tony Allen, 24, Leon Poe, 22, and Al Jefferson, 21. It was a young and capable squad, with Jefferson giving Pierce the best inside presence he had played with in his pro career and possibly setting the stage for the truth to lead the team to a championship. We'll never know, but while we had him, Jefferson was fun to watch work on the low block. Similar players, Alvin Adams, Nate Thurmond, and Brooke Lopez. Trivia. Who was the tallest player Al Jefferson was traded for? Not Kevin Garnett. Hint, it's not him.
I saw it, unfortunately. It is Costa Kufos.
Oh, Jack is a genius.
I cheated. Be well, guys. Thank you for letting me fill in the dry spell with some light into the dark ages. RJ, genuinely, this has been dope. Like,
Very
we
helpful.
appreciate you. You didn't have to do any of this, and so we.
In hindsight, we should have just used these for the videos, the separate videos,
maybe,
and then we could have did like highlights or whatever.
That's all right. Thank you again, RJ. We appreciate you. I will say, off of this, I just thought of the question. Also, Al Jefferson, never an All-Star. Didn't know that. Weird. I thought he was an all-star.
He was.
Yeah, no, never an all-star. All-NBA in 2013-14, but never an all-star.
He was all-NBA? That's crazy.
Yeah.
And he wasn't
Never an all-star. Yeah, very weird. What I was going to ask you, the ping pong balls didn't fall their way, obviously, in that season. They got Jeff Green, and they flipped it into Ray Allen and Kevin Garnett, and that would happen. Would you have rather Kevin Durant, or would you rather keep the future that happened with Allen and Garnett? And I think that's a tough question, because you don't know what would happen with KD, I should say, or you can keep the one championship.
Well, Pierce would have been gone.
You think so?
Yeah, he's talked about that like a bunch of times. The plan was to trade him, so they probably would have got more help for Durant.
Maybe.
I don't know. I think it would be interesting to play it out and see how it went. But I'm not really positive on how
you wouldn't rather.
I'd rather have the title, I guess.
Fair enough. All right. Do you want to do any of this other Celtic stuff, or do you want to bump it all? We could do one more, or we could just bump it. What do we think?
Just bump it. We have so much NBA stuff today we can have fun with.
Perfect. That's what I figured. All right. So that'll be your Celtics fix. Thank you again to RJ. Again, truly cannot thank you enough. This was not only a lifesaver, but it was dope, and you didn't have to.
It was fun.
We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you, RJ, very much. Let's kick off NBA stuff with the load management ban being official. You put this in here, so I'll let you kick it off. But basically, it's the stuff we talked about last time. But it is.
This is a Big Peen Adam Silver episode, all bald and shaven. Load management ban is official. The NBA will provide several scenarios, however, for excused absences on missed games, including those involving regular season back-to-back scenarios. Sources said, quit fucking moving the thing, will you? For example, the NBA will allow pre-approved designated back-to-back allowances for players who are 35 years old on opening night or have career workloads of 34,000 regular season minutes or 1,000 regular seasons / playoff games combined. Sources said, I believe this is from Woj. Those players, if you may be wondering, LeBron, Chris Paul, Durant, Harden, Curry, DeRozan, and Conley. So no surprise to anybody, LeBron gets a break. Shocker. But also, Warriors catch a major break. We had the thing. What do they have? They have 4 total players? Yeah, because Wiggins was an all-star. So it's those two, Draymond and Wiggins, that are all eligible for these little punishments.
Yeah.
So when we first heard about this, the Warriors were at big-time risk of being fined up the ass. Because, I mean, it does make sense for this to be a loophole, all jokes aside. Because this is a reason, if you're going to rest players, this is the demographic that you should be resting. The old guys, the wear and tear guys. Not listed.
Yeah.
Paul George, Kawhi Leonard.
Tough for them. Also tough for Clay. Coming off 2 injuries. I know he just played a full season after it, so he's okay. But like Clay's a guy who I feel like they should want to rest more often, and I don't know if they'll be able to, but that's weird. Yeah, I like it. I'm in on it. Glad they're doing it. Good for them. Speaking of Adam Silver, Sam, I know you're hyped about this, so I'll let you rock the next one.
All right. Adam Silver rules. He was asked about the Dame and James Harden situations. This is what he had to say. I believe it was Howard Beck that asked him that. Don't like them. As a league, I want players and teams to both honor their contracts. I'm watching everything going on in Portland and Philadelphia and hoping they get resolved to everyone's satisfaction. I'm glad it seems to have calmed down as far as public discourse as he talks about it nationally. But he was asked, in fairness. Good for Adam Silver. I think that's the correct answer. These contracts are both ways. So players, they shouldn't be signing contracts just to play in the NBA. That's really my main point with this. I don't know what the main solution is going to be, but you have this situation looming over the Celtics' head as we still have the green background up, which is fine.
I'll change it.
That was not a snipe. I swear to God it wasn't. I just happened to notice.
I was waiting for I'm getting roasted on the podcast. Yeah, good for Adam Silver. I mean, he's not going to say anything else, right? But to hear him so harshly say, out on the trade request.
But back to it, right? This does affect the Celtics.
Yeah.
If they do something about this, because both Jaylen Brown, who already assigned his, and Jason Tatum, you would have to assume are going to be on these monster contract extensions. One concern with the Jaylen extension from many people is that he doesn't like it here, and he's going to ask out. And He's not going to fulfill the contract. If they decide to make that stricter, you may see players more hesitant to accept all this money with the new CBA, right? If they're like you, we've talked about this before. Like hypothetically, you have to say they have to do like 3 years or whatever of the 5 to be traded, or to request a trade. So maybe they start to think twice about this stuff. But from a Celtics perspective, if they do change it, it's going to benefit them because they're going to have 2 all-NBA level players locked up for 5 years.
Yeah, I agree. And I think the benefit of this to the Celtics is their stars want to play. Like Tatum's probably hyped. Tatum's like, you can't rest me now, dude, guys. Like I'm playing anyways. So, yeah, I think this is fine. Tom Brady in the gym again. Another thing you were hyped about. I know you were amped. Tom Brady, the legend. Just didn't miss. I have the video here. I'll share. So for those of you who don't know, Tom Brady's son is going to Northeastern. Is that correct? And I don't know
context.
I don't know if that was the connection, but I know that was something I talked about with my friend last night when this came up. So I don't know if the connection is there, but Tom Brady was in the gym, as Sam put it, the gym that every NBA player ever goes to, that it is great in. Tom Brady,
anytime anybody's in this gym, they're nasty.
This is Tom Brady's son getting the shots up, and Tom Brady as well. Don't miss. he's
stepping
not
into him.
He's not missing.
Oh, he can't guard though.
Cooking a little bit. This is the Ben Simmons highlight tape, but it is cool because it's Tom fucking Brady. I know you're not a big football guy. You a big Tom Brady guy?
I always liked Tom Brady because I grew up with the Patriots teams that were really good, and I always respect like the career he had and being the greatest or whatever. But it's not like I'm not like obsessed with him like a lot of people. Like I think he's great, but
yeah,
it's fine.
This is fire. He's just draining them. He's not.
Celtics need the 15th guy. You put people in seats. That's for damn sure. If you signed him, imagine if they did that just as like a gimmick.
Yeah. Oh man, what did it? It's like when didn't the Mavericks trot out Tony Romo?
I think that was a like April Fool's thing or something like that. But there is like a image something of him in the Mavericks uniform.
There's something there. All right. Next thing we have is I know you're not too fond of this, Sam. Damian Lillard update. Yay. Aren't we so glad?
I think this came out right after we did the last show, or it came out yesterday.
It was somewhat recent. Sham saying Dame isn't going to camp unless it's the Heat, which they were pressed about him and his agent, and they were saying, no, we never said that. Well, come on. What are we doing here?
Somebody
reading this. This is a huge blurb, but I'm gonna try to pick through it quickly. Expect Portland and Miami to re-engage before the start of training camp. Really, at this point, I'm told only 2 training camps that Dame would report to are Portland and Miami. So it's funny that he used this as an example because he shit on the Raptors for no reason. So if a team like Toronto, for instance, were to trade for Dame, I don't believe Dame would even report. I believe that standing trade request would still be there if he were to be traded to a team like Toronto or anyone else that really wants to take a chance on it. So basically it is he'll go to Portland because he's there, or he'll go to Miami because it's Miami. And Sam wrote, so fucking sick of this guy, man. It should have been him instead of Rodgers. Whoa. And then NBA sources tell the Oregonian/Oregon Live that this claim is only partially true. This type of firm stance from Lillard was originally on the table, according to sources, but he backed off since July when the NBA got involved. Lillard threw a statement that he would honor his contract by reporting to whoever the Blazers trading him. Blah, 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 blah. Also, what is this? Also, LOL at this excerpt from Oregon Live. Anyone who has listened to his rap music knows that overcoming obstacles, including disrespect, is a common theme. Which is just a fire excerpt from Oregon Live, but
he just loves the grind, dude. He's just addicted to it. God,
but
who's listening to his music?
You're over.
That's the beat writer life, though.
Over Dame, we're over
so
the news.
Over it. I just think it's funny that all this stuff is coming up again. Like he's not going to play, then don't play, dude. Loser. It's just loser stuff. I don't know.
It is lame. It is lame. Moving swiftly on to Giannis Antetokounmpo. You think this is loser stuff from Giannis? I think the opposite.
It's winner stuff.
I think it's I wouldn't expect much else. So Giannis was on. Where was he? Where did he say this? He was on some podcast today. And I don't know where it was. I can Google
some ESPN production because that's where I saw this.
He was on 48 Minutes, which was NBA on ESPN. As my Google is glitching out, but he was basically asked about his future in Milwaukee, and he said, I'm a Milwaukee Buck, but most importantly, I'm a winner. If there is a better situation for me to win the Larry O'Brien, I have to take that better situation. I don't mind him saying this only because I know, or I assume, and then again, I thought about him. I don't think he would request a trade to a new situation. I think he's saying, I think Giannis is
next year, right?
That's what I'm saying. That's why I think it's okay for him to say this, because he's basically putting pressure on the Bucks saying, put a contending team around me or I'm not re-signing. And that's fine, right? That is literally what contracts are for. That is what you beg players to do all the time.
I agree. I agree with that part.
Yeah.
I will say this. Okay, Giannis, what would you rather do? Would you rather have a contending team, or would you rather have the Bucks waste roster spots on your family? Pick one, because they're trying to do both. And not for nothing, the team that they put together in Milwaukee is quality. Like it's not like he's on a middling team. Like Milwaukee was the first seed last year. What else do you want out of them? Yeah. I think they've done especially being a small market team, they've done an excellent job of compiling talent.
I don't think he's necessarily, I don't think he's complaining about the team now. I think he's just saying, hey, don't slow up, because realistically, as much as they were the first seed, like they've been bouncing the second round or sooner in the past 2 years. And if they need to trade a Chris Middleton or a Brook Lopez or a Drew Holiday because just to get younger, to get, different dynamic offense in there, like they should do it. I think this is Giannis's way of saying like, hey, don't get complacent. I still want to win. I know we won a title, but I want to win more. And so that's good for him. It's fine. The Thanasis thing I get to. If you want my opinion, I don't think it's Giannis saying do it or I'm out. I think it's the Bucks saying, hey, well, we got your brother back though. Like I feel like it's that side of thing. Like I don't think it's Giannis saying bring him back or I leave. I think it's the Bucks trying to get him to stay, if that makes sense. I don't know.
I would have more for Giannis if he was like, I don't know why you're employing my bum brother.
Well, I mean, you heard from the Thanasis that he almost signed with the Knicks, so there was some competition out there.
Yeah, the Knicks had a big contract up for Thanasis. Thanasis' probably only value is like what you said, like, hey, we just signed your brother. So like
exactly,
Knicks feel like they can get Giannis. So if they sign Thanasis, maybe they feel like they'll get Giannis. I don't know.
True. I wonder who has. Can I look on Spot Track and see, is Giannis a free agent next summer or the season after? Do you know?
I believe it's
season after. So he has this year, the year after, and then he has a player option, which he'll probably decline to get more money.
Wow, he's under contract for a while for there already to be like, oh, he's gonna leave, happening.
I feel like it's less that and more, or at least from Giannis's perspective, saying, hey, like, keep improving, keep changing, keep like trying to find ways to get better. Don't get complacent. Let's keep moving forward. I want to see cap tracker by the 25-26 season. I want to see who will have space. And obviously it's tough to project by then, but like you look at guys who could potentially have cap space that summer. You're seeing teams like the Magic and the Spurs, both of whom could probably like Giannis by that point. Like, imagine the Spurs pair Giannis with Wemby, or they pair Giannis with Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner, or the Pacers go out and get him and try to pair him with Halliburton, or the LA Clippers, they try to get him to a big market, or the Thunder try to pair him with Shea. Like, there will be plenty of teams out there where Giannis could have a good shot to win a title, arguably better than the Bucks. And so, I don't think Giannis wants to leave Milwaukee. I think he's just saying like, hey, keep trying to improve. Like, don't get complacent, which is good for him. And he's doing it the right way versus requesting a trade for Milwaukee. So I don't see a huge problem with it. I mean, I wish instead of doing what he's doing with the Sixers right now, James Harden just said, I'm leaving in free agency, which is kind of what Giannis is teeing up for anyway. So, all right, Sam, Reddit post of the day. What we got?
Reddit post of the day from user Angel 2 times with a Z.
Ooh, okay.
Going into his 21st season, who is the best player you would take LeBron over? If you don't think highly of LeBron this year, who's the worst player you would take over LeBron? Some of the best players I would still take LeBron over this season: KD, Shea, Tatum, and crazy enough, probably Luka. Unsure about Curry, but most likely swinging towards Curry. Before his foot injury, he was averaging 29 points per game and almost double-digit rebounds. And while on one foot, he was still very good and controlled the game. A lot depends on how he has recovered, but LeBron is pretty good at getting himself ready during the offseason. LaVine and DeRozan over LeBron easily, though. Don't look at my Twitter. He's a Bulls fan. Initial thoughts.
Psychotic. Saying you take LeBron over KD, Tatum, and Luka is nuts. Shea I kind of get, but even that, I might take Shea. Like, I think LeBron's a great player, and he still controls the game, and the Lakers were still very good. But I also think you have to consider the fact that literally in the same post, this guy wrote this whole post, and he counter-argued against himself in the same post, saying before the foot injury, he's not going to be healthy for an entire season anymore. Like that, and I think KD is the same thing, but like Luka and Tatum are pretty healthy, and the only reason Luka didn't play towards the end of the season, I think, is because the Mavericks wanted to tank, and I don't think he was very happy about sitting out.
Sure did.
And so there is that. I hope people roasted him in the comments. I don't know if people roasted him in the replies for the Tatum, KD, etc.
Somebody said this is a really roundabout way to ask where you rank LeBron for this season.
Yeah, pretty much.
Top reply.
That's a great question.
Actual reply was maybe Tatum or Jimmy. My top is in order, but if you swap players with players close to them, then I think it would probably be fine. Don't know what that means. Jokic, Giannis, Steph, Luka, Embiid, AD, KD. Then Bron/Tatum/Jimmy exists around the same tier and can be swapped. So they're a maybe. I don't really know if Embiid is better than those three guys.
Call me crazy. I think the best player I would take LeBron over is probably his teammate, probably AD. If you want my opinion, and maybe that's because I'm worried about his health and how often he can play. But like, I'd probably put it in the like Devin Booker maybe range. I might take Book over LeBron though, and that's crazy, but I don't know. Book's real good. I would take Jimmy over LeBron for the entirety season in the playoffs. I'd take Tatum. I'd take Luka. I'd take Embiid, Jokic, and Giannis. I'd take Curry. I'd take KD. Like, that's not a knock on LeBron. It's just there's a lot of good players in the NBA.
Another comment. Yeah. LeBron is incredible. Body has shown it is starting to break down these last few years, to your point. I think I'd give the edge to Tatum just because of his Iron Man status.
Good.
Someone replied, said LeBron clearly can't provide the value over a whole regular season, but he was way better than Tatum this last conference finals. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't like the Tatum narratives in that conference finals. I really, and you remember, I was bullshit when people were like, he's not shooting in the fourth quarter. And I was like, yeah, because he's seeing three guys. He's making the correct play.
LeBron was so good. He didn't win a single game. Good for him.
Yeah. Someone said, is Shea in the God tier now? It's so crazy to me that LeBron is in top 5 player in the league discussions going into 21st season. Most Hall of Fame players weren't even able to lace up.
That's true. As much as you don't like LeBron, like that,
you'd have to be dumb to take LeBron over Luka.
Yeah, I agree.
De'Aaron Fox clears. Okay, this is all shit posting
now we're getting
you guys get the point.
It's interesting. It is really just where do you rank LeBron? I probably rank him around.
By the way, this is a great rat list.
Thank you. I rank LeBron around like 6 to 8, and so I think that's where we're probably seeing it. Anyways, speaking of the rat list, let's jump right into it. Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, you can go first.
All right. Well, in that case, what do I start with? What did you see? Did you just like it all?
I think the second one is truly a good pick.
We'll start it then with we'll start with that CAPTCHA. Just hate it. CAPTCHA's the worst. So for context, my router just fell onto the ground. So I'll pick that up as I'm talking. CAPTCHA. So every time I want to log into Megaphone, which is the platform we use to distribute our podcast. So it's where I upload the audio file and it releases it to Spotify and Apple and all that good stuff. I have to relog in and I have to use CAPTCHA. Usually this isn't a problem. Sometimes it doesn't even bring up the CAPTCHA and it just says, okay, verified, you're not a robot, whatever. But sometimes it says some shit like click the telephone pole. And I click the telephone pole, but then there's one box where it's just in the corner and there's a tiny bit of telephone pole. And I click it saying, okay, there's a little bit in there. Doesn't count. And then there's, click all the bridge. If the bridge is in the picture, click it. Okay, well, does the base of the bridge count as the bridge? No, it doesn't. Do CAPTCHA again. And then I refresh the page and get mad or whatever. And then the other CAPTCHA is the worst CAPTCHA, in my opinion, is click all images with something in it, with a boat in it. And I click the image with a boat. But then instead of just accepting that there's a boat in it, it reloads another image, and it's like, okay, does this image have boat?
Yeah, it's like, okay,
then,
let's see. Are you programmed just for boats, or can you also recognize bikes?
So I'm now caught in an endless cycle of click this image, and I finally get down to one square, and I'm like, okay, yes, there's a boat in that, and then it loads a new image. Okay, there's also a boat in that. There's also a boat. Stop! I'm not a fucking robot. I know what a boat is, and spoiler alert, robots probably fucking know what a boat is too. What are we doing? Like, if AI can generate songs that sound like LeBron James and images, AI realistic images of basketball courts, and you know, the NFL is doing a stream of their game this week that's just Toy Story. They're live rendering the game and AI imaging it or whatever, imaging it to Toy Story and having all the players act as two cartoon characters. I'm pretty sure my computer can tell you what a fucking boat is. Captcha's stupid. Figure out something else. I'm over it. It pissed me off today. I was stuck there for 5 minutes. It was annoying me. So Ratless Captcha, out on Captcha. It's vanquished. It's got to be gone.
Ratless scheduling work meetings in the first or last hour of the day. Ratless move. Unwritten rule. It's like in baseball, like when they flip the bat and then they get hit by a pitch the next time they come up. That should be the equivalent when you schedule a meeting for the last hour of the shift. So there was a meeting today. It was an hour long. And it caused some chaos as there were tornado warnings in the area. So it was like, I might have not been here for this had you not scheduled it at 4. So it was kind of a day ruiner. I didn't play basketball today because of that. It was less than ideal.
Very
made me
tough.
sad.
Yeah, that is a disaster. That's a disaster. Ratless this morning. This is a story. My morning in particular. So my sister is a nursing student and she forgot her stethoscope here. If you're a nursing student, you should probably remember your stethoscope and name tag. Just saying, it's probably an important piece of the puzzle. So she took the train home. I picked her up from the train station. We got breakfast. I dropped her back off. The train came in. And I offered this, so I'm not going to rattle her for how early it was, because I said, come in an hour earlier, we can get breakfast. So I did it to myself, but I was up at 7 this morning. So early morning for me is my point. Right. Not a morning person. Sam knows this. Everyone knows this.
Correct. You were up today. You were texting me, like, you texted me something, and then I didn't respond in like 2 minutes, and you were like, thoughts? I was like, I'm fucking driving. Leave me alone.
Yeah. Hey, fuck. You're going to tell. Whatever. All right. Well,
yeah, I'm a changed person.
Whatever. So whatever, I'm up early. It's a rough day, or I'm crabby already. Put it that way. I'm like tired, so I'm like not fully myself. Driving there, whatever. Get there, blah blah blah. Coming back from breakfast, got eggs Benedict, by the way, with bacon. Very good. Fan. Something I've newly discovered is good. I like eggs Benedict now. It's really good. Enjoy. I got it another day. The other day I got it with like pulled short rib. Fire. Anyways, sorry, distracted. Tangent. Coming home, road work. 8 a.m. 8:30 a.m. prime time. Disaster.
Not a good time to do road work.
Not at all. Very out of it. Maybe even 9, which is even worse. Right.
That is worse.
In line, sitting there. My sister, big backseat driver, big on telling me what to do. Get in line, whatever. I hopefully knock on wood. No police are listening. This is on my phone. In the I'm waiting in this traffic because it's one of those
SWAT.
where. Right, only like half of the road is open, or like half the road is open. So there's cops, and we wait in a big line, and half people go, one people go, and so sitting on my phone looking down. I put it in park. My sister goes, "Why are you in park?" I'm like, "We're fucking waiting. I'm just gonna take my foot off the gas like for 5 minutes and sit in park, whatever." Line starts to go. I don't see it. Instead of saying, "Jack, it's going," my sister's first reaction is to say, "Jack, it's going, it's going." Grab the Prindle, what is it actually called? I'm stupid. The gear shift. Grab the gear shift. And she starts like taking it out of gear. I'm like, stop. My foot's not on the gas or brake. Stop touching my shit. Let me go. And so I panic. And so that frustrates me already, right? That already puts me in like a panic, like annoyed mood.
Correct.
Whatever. Driving home, whatever. Finally get through the traffic. It's fine. Get to my street, and I probably talked about it here before, but for just not in a long time. My driveway is directly across the street from a cul-de-sac, which is fine, but it's also on a not a super busy road, but busy enough where if I want to back into my driveway, I've got to pull across the street to the cul-de-sac if someone is riding my ass. Lo and behold, someone was up my ass today, right behind me, so I can't like pull forward and back in because they're directly behind my car. So I pull into the cul-de-sac, but it's school time. So people are walking down the cul-de-sac just in the middle of the road, trying to get to the bus stop. And so instead of pulling in and pulling back out, I go all the way around the cul-de-sac to avoid them. I get back. They're standing in the middle of the street again. They give me a look. I'm like, you're in the way. You're in the street. Why are you looking at me? And then I just pull straight into the driveway instead of backing in, even though it's a bitch to get out that way. But just because I'm like, okay, I'm over this. I don't want to deal with this anymore. It's fine. Pull in. So I'm just all the little things have built up to this point where I'm annoyed. I get in the house and I have dogs, and so stuff is gated off. I go to step over the gate, trip over the gate. Just day ruiner. At that point, I take my keys, I chuck them onto the floor. I'm just so mad. I just scream, and I get back in bed and I take a nap for an hour. And it was just like everything that came together. Hour or two later, drop my sister back off the train. And I'm letting my aunt's dogs out. I'm doing it every day. She's a school nurse, so no one's home, so I let them out. One of them is a puppy, and I stepped in shit.
So
just even worse, right? And that's one thing.
I'm wearing Crocs.
I was wearing Crocs, and so it was easy to wash off. So if anything, it was better. So right, I washed it off. It's fine.
Okay.
Walk up to the front door. Puppy is eating shit. So I'm just mad at this point. Then he goes to take a drink of water, drools into my Croc, which the downside of Crocs is my sock is now wet. So it was just a terrible morning. And then I couldn't order my Dunkin' on the app because they don't have the salted caramel cold brew anymore at the Dunkin'. They were out, or they couldn't make it that morning. So I was even more upset. So I got a cold brew from Starbucks instead because it's close, and it was good. But it was just like nothing like super bad happened, but it was enough little things that annoyed me to the point where I was just in a really shit mood for most of the day.
I would rather have actual problems than minor inconveniences.
Agree. And then the pizza place that I like is just not open right now. And so it was just, and then I had to pick up Henry from work in a tornado warning.
He was sleeping.
It was just a flurry of minor inconveniences today, which I agree with you. I'd rather have a problem.
They're like, hey, like your leg's broken. It's like, all right.
Tragic.
Like, oh, you're in traffic? I'd rather not.
I did, speaking of leg, I did hurt my ankle again playing golf the other week.
Remarkable.
I need new shoes. I need new golf shoes. I'm just walking down hills, and they're so old that they don't give me enough support anymore. So anyways.
Jack, have you ever done an escape room?
I have once, but it was a long time ago. But I know the concept. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you have not done an escape room, you go in, it's a big, giant puzzle, and you have like an hour to do it, usually. So you look around the room, look for clues, whatever. The theme of this escape room is like you're in a murderer's house, and you're trying to get out. And I've gone with my girlfriend. I've gone with her roommate. And a roommate's fiance. So there's four of us in the escape room. Now,
I just see a escape room guy on the sheet, and now I'm excited for the story because I have a feeling I didn't understand, but go ahead.
Yeah. Don't fucking kill my punchline-esque thing. It's not really
I won't.
punchline.
I'm just excited. Sorry, go.
So in escape rooms, like you go through the puzzles, like sometimes like when you get stuck, like someone will come on the loudspeaker and like give you hints, or like hints will come up on a screen. Now this place gives you hints in a unique way. In my team, we were all stuck. So how do they give us the hint? Well, an actor dressed as the killer busts through the door like fucking Kramer from Seinfeld and makes me look like a pussy in front of my girlfriend, as I am just completely horrified because I've never had that happen. And it completely ruined my concentration because now I'm just like, fuck, dude. Like, I don't want this to happen again. Like, I actually just kind of want to go home.
Did you scream?
No. Well, I was like, why? My reaction is definitely flight.
Yeah.
That was like fight. Like, I hope like nobody, like the guy was actually nice afterwards. Of course, like he's just an actor. But like, imagine if somebody like attacked him.
Someone
like there was a point where like I acquired a board. Like I was walking around with like probably like a 2x4, just I had it, and I was like, all right, like I feel a little bit more secure now. But like I didn't want to like go behind any doors. I didn't want anything jumping out at me. And I legitimately could not concentrate. Like I was not my sharpest because I was like, is he gonna come in here again? It like Is that a normal thing? Like I didn't know that they. I mean, good for them. Good creativity by them. Excellent. Like good job. Like no shame on them.
So how did he give you the clue as the
killer?
killer?
Good at his job.
Yeah. How did he give you the clue? Did he just come in and just give you a clue?
He would bust in the story is like you're neighbors of the person and you're investigating to see what's going on.
Oh, so he wasn't a murderer in the sense that he came in to try to kill you. He came in.
No, yeah. He busted in. He was like neighbors. And then like he would be like,
yeah,
you need to think this way, or like you have this much time left. Or I think
multiple
the first
times?
time he busted in was just to tell us we had like 40 minutes left, and it was terrifying.
That he busted in multiple times?
Yeah, he busted in like 4 times.
Wow. That's crazy.
After the third time, it wasn't as bad because one, we were far away at that point.
Mm-hmm. Did you
the
solve
first time he did it? He definitely did it where like he knew we were all there. Like they got cameras. He knew we were right at the door.
He was an asshole. He's
terrifying.
That's his joy. That's his joy for the day. Did you solve the escape room? Did you guys get out?
We had 17 seconds to go as we did it, and he was definitely gonna bust in again. It'd be like you guys failed. You're gonna get saw. I wonder what like the script called for him to do there. Like, was he supposed to like fake attack us? Because essentially, like he threatens you. He's like, find evidence or you're gonna die. Imagine
he just actually comes and murders you all. He's like, yeah, you guys lost. Sorry.
That would actually be kind of terrible.
Yeah, probably. Last thing I have.
I live to tell the tale.
Tiny story, very tiny. I picked up Henry from work today.
I wanted to close with that.
Sorry, no, it's literally a 2-second thing. It's not an actual rat list. It's just I went to pick up Henry and I thought of it because of the tornadoes, because I heard the rain outside. Go to pick up Henry, like 15 minutes from my house. It's fine. We get there and Henry goes, "Are you sure you're okay to drive in this?" I'm like, what's the alternative, Henry?
You gonna drive?
Yeah, we just
sleeping.
Also, yeah, right. The alternative, I'm like, yeah, Henry.
Someone tells him he's listening to a pod, dude. He just starts laughing and drives off the road because he goes limp. He just turns into a rag doll at the wheel.
I go to him. I'm like, Henry, the alternative is sitting here in this open fucking parking lot. Yeah, I think I'm okay to drive. Like, what's the other option, buddy? Like, what else are we gonna fucking do? Yeah, I'm okay to drive in this. There's no other choice. I was like, Henry.
This whole severe weather is the rat list, actually. So I'm at work today.
Out on it. Yeah,
and like we all get like one of the phone things, and it's like it might flood. That's what it says. It might flood.
Happened to me when I was driving. I shit myself.
Yeah. It's like 3:15. Watch out, flood. I'm like, okay, so like that means we're all gonna leave early, right? Like everyone's kind of like testing the waters. Like, are we all gonna leave? You know, whatever. So I'm like, yeah, I think we're gonna leave. Now, my car, and this is important. My car was having problems, so I took a different car to work today. My dad happened to be home, so I took his car. My badge to get in the building is in my car, so I do not have my badge when I arrive. Someone lets me in, it's fine. But I have this mental dilemma of, do I really, really want to leave this building for lunch and have to worry about getting back in? Now, it is simple. You would just ask somebody, and that's what I ended up doing. But I held off going to lunch for a very long time because I was like, oh, when we all leave early, I'll just go get lunch.
Oh, no.
And as you can tell by the earlier story about the meeting.
Yeah.
The meeting, by the way, which is actually I don't really need to go into it, but whatever. it was a disaster for
typical work
standpoints. But there was no leaving early, so I didn't take lunch till 3, which I usually go around then anyways, just because like I like to like go to lunch and then come back and there's no time left in my day. It's fire.
Yeah. Yep.
But I probably waited longer than I would have because I was like, oh, we're all gonna go home.
It's like when you back in high school or whatever, you have to go to the bathroom. I would always wait like, okay, there's 15 minutes left in class. If I go to the bathroom now, I'll come back and there'll be 5 minutes left in class. And that's when it would hit. Anyways, that's all I got. You got anything else for the rat list?
No, I wanted to close with the escape room.
Well, I had one tiny thing, then you went off another tangent, but good stories regardless. Anyways, thank you all for tuning in to How About Them Celtics. We appreciate it very much. Thank you again to RJ for all of his help. And,
yes.
RJ and others, no need to stop with emails if you want to keep emailing. We'll keep reading them. It's just the series of the Dark Ages is over at this point.
We'll do mailbag, whatever.
Yeah.
Please help. Please.
All of you guys, please. Yeah. Let us know stuff. Email us, DM us, any of that good stuff. The comments, all of that. Comment for videos tomorrow, please. We will have nothing.
Yes. Yes. Reminder. Let us know what you want to hear us talk about. 4 things. 4 things.
4 things. Or more, and we'll pick them. Subscribe to How About Them Celtics. Leave us a 5-star on Apple and Spotify. Leave us a review on Apple if you want. That was very kind of RJ. Again, legend. Thank you. And leave a comment. Again, please help us. We're desperate. Thank you all for tuning in. Sam, get us out.
Yes, thank you very much for listening and watching. If you're on the YouTube, whether it's ours, CLNS, or CLNS's other one, subscribe. If it's us, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our daily uploads. They're still coming at you daily till the end of the summer at least. I think we're going to continue to do something. I don't know what the exact plan is. We're going to be around. You can follow us on Spotify and Apple. If you just like the audio versions, that's absolutely fine. They're there. Leave a nice 5-star review and say something nice, like Jack said. You can find us on Playback TV. We're going to be streaming there during the season. You can follow us. It's just How About Them Celtics. You join the community. I'm pretty sure you can like put in like little like messages, like a Discord or something. You can have fun with it. At How About Them C's social media, it's active. I'm behind it. We're back. Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok is at How About Them C's. Facebook is just the name of the podcast. We're putting links to our daily stuff there. Our different pods will be there when they're up every day. You'll see something. You can follow Jack on Twitter at JackSmoneyBay. You can follow me at Sam LaFrance NBA. That's it for us. Bye.